Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2013. This is Texan TV news from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. And I'm Keli Jo Cummings. In today's headlines, White House photographer to speak on campus. Thanksgiving dinner hosted in Morgan Mill. Texas man arrested for killing 3 people. A new frontier for lung transplants. Libyan militia causes strike. Sony's PlayStation 4 release. Texan football regular season ends with defeat. Texan basketball breaks 2 records. And the weather. In campus news, today, former White House photographer and personal photographer to President George H.W. Bush, David Valdez, is scheduled to speak in room 116 of the O.A. Grant Humanities Building at noon. Valdez trained as an Air Force photographer and later earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in journalism from the University of Maryland at College Park. From there, he has held jobs in the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Media writing and photojournalism professor Catherine Jones Malone says, "We are so pleased to have a photojournalist of Valdez's caliber on campus to visit with our students. We hope that they get inspired and aim high in their careers." Valdez has worked in several private and government agencies and has had photographs published in Life, Newsweek, Time, U.S. and World Report, and many other national and international publications. In local news, according to the Stephenville Empire Tribune, Morgan Mill is preparing for its annual community-wide Thanksgiving dinner. The dinner is set to take place on Friday in the Morgan Mill Independent School District's gym. This donation-funded event is not only for the community, but for approximately 100 soldiers who drive in from Fort Hood. This event is hosted solely by the Morgan Mill ISD faculty, staff, and students, and they have come up with an innovative way to get all students and faculty to help. Faculty and staff cook, while students make decorations or help serve. Presley Elson, a kindergartner, said that her favorite part is eating with her grandparents, and also she really likes it when the soldiers come too. Superintendent Dean Edwards has extended an invitation to everyone. Come out to Morgan Mill and share in the food and fellowship of our Thanksgiving dinner and see one of the best schools in Texas. The dinner is free, and the doors will open at 11 and close at 1. And now in today's Texas, national, international, and entertainment news from the Associated Press. In Texas news, Roberto Castilla, 27, was arrested Saturday and charged with shooting and stabbing 3 people in a Dallas suburb. Castilla has now been charged with murder and has been taken to jail, facing a $1 million bond. When police arrived on the scene in Bardwell, approximately 45 minutes south of Dallas, they discovered 3 bodies, 2 male and 1 female. Information on the deceased has not been released. Police pursued Castilla and finally placed him under arrest in Italy, Texas, 15 miles southwest of the crime scene. No further information has been released. In national news, the frontier for lung transplants has started. Today, registered organ donors do not get to donate organs unless they have died in a hospital, but a little-known fact is about to change how lungs are treated. Dr. Thomas Egan of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, is leading a project that could save lives. The little-known fact that Egan shares is your lungs do not die when you do. Your lungs are the only organ that can survive after you die. The air inside keeps them from decaying. Egan's experiment hopes to allow organ donations from people that die outside of a hospital. When lungs are brought in, Egan places them in a glass container and hooks them up to machines that will pump a solution to test the lungs for diseases. This new frontier is a sign of hope for Lisa Bowman, 51, of Union Grove, North Carolina. Bowman has spent 2 years on the waiting list for new lungs, and if this experiment works, Bowman said that it would be the greatest thing to be able to breathe normally again. Egan is hopeful that if they can make the lung transplant work, it will save nearly 6,000 people a year. In international news, protesters in the Libyan capital of Tripoli held a strike yesterday demanding that the city break up all militias after almost 50 people were killed from the violence over the weekend. The violence erupted on Friday when thousands of people marched on a neighborhood controlled by the Misrata militia. Militiamen opened fire onto a crowd, killing 43 people. The violence continued when another militia tried to take over the military base that left 4 more people dead. The Misrata City Council announced yesterday that they were withdrawing their cabinet members and their representatives from the interim national parliament. And now, here's the AP News Minute.
This is AP News Minute. Tornadoes ripped through the Midwest Sunday, killing at least half a dozen people and leaving a path of destruction. Parts of Indiana and Illinois were among the hardest hit. An airliner has crashed in Russia, killing all 50 people on board. The Boeing 737 was making its second attempt to land when it crashed in Kazan, about 450 miles east of Moscow. The U.S. Agency for International Development says it's adding $10 million to disaster relief efforts in the Philippines. That brings the total amount of U.S. assistance to $37 million since a deadly typhoon struck the region more than a week ago. And President Obama and the First Family took in a college basketball game Sunday. The Obamas were greeted by applause and some boos at the University of Maryland in suburban Washington, where the Terrapins lost to Oregon State. Michelle Obama's brother coaches the Beavers. Matt Small, the Associated Press, with AP News Minute.
In entertainment news, the highly anticipated Sony PlayStation 4 was released on Friday in the United States and Canada and has sold more than 1 million units during its first 24 hours. The PlayStation 4 is the first new video game console that Sony has put on the market in 7 years, and a lot has changed since then. This new console is facing the release of its competition, Microsoft Corporation's Xbox One, new tablets, smartphones, and other gadgets for gamers. Sony's president and group CEO Andrew House said on Sunday that sales have remained strong. Sony expects to sell more than 5 million units by the end of its fiscal year in March. In sports, according to the Texan News Service sports editor Trevor Peel, the regular season for Texan football has ended with a devastating loss against the University of North Alabama Lions, 44-7. According to the Tarleton Sports, with the loss of this game, the Texans will not have earned a spot in the NCAA Division II playoffs, but the Texans have a chance at playing in the Heart of Texas Bowl on December 7th. In other sports, according to the Tarleton Sports, the Texans defeated the St. Edward's Knights 87-70 and the Bloomingfield Deacons 93-63 in Wisdom Gym on Saturday, closing the 2013 Whataburger Texan Tip-Off Classic. This win has improved the Texans to a 3-0 season for the first time since 2010-2011 season. The Texans also broke a scoring record. The Texans scored 85 points on more than 3 consecutive games for the first time since 2006. The Texans will play again tomorrow, the 19th, against the Arlington Baptists. The Texans and the Patriots will tip off at 7 p.m. in Wisdom Gym. And now, the weather. Today is high is 70 with a low of 49 and is partly cloudy. Texan TV News is a product of the Texan News Service. Find us on Facebook and Twitter, and visit our website at www.texannews.net for all of your latest local, sports, news, lifestyle, and entertainment news. Today's broadcast was produced by Sarah Gann and Jazz Mangone. I am Keli Jo Cummings from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Have a great day, Tarleton Texans.